You're listening to the Iterators of the Imperium.
Hi, I'm Mess, and I'm here with my lovely co-host Ryan, and you're listening to Season 7, or Septum, of the Iterators of the Imperium podcast, the podcast in which Ryan is the expert on Warhammer 40k, and I am still 7 seasons in, the noob, trying to learn about the Warhammer universe. And I believe today we're jumping back to the Warhammer Hunger Games with Dante.
Yeah, kinda. Because last time we did the whole bit of him getting up to being chapter master and all that, and now we have this little bit where like there's a couple of things we need to cover because the next bit we're going to is the Devastation of Baal, which is like the big central point of their of the storyline for Dante. You know, it's a big deal. Everything really changes with that. So there's a couple of little bits we should do before it. So one of them is just like the build up for the war, right? Like what he did to prepare. The other side of it is there is a character we need to cover because he ties in directly to Dante's storyline after the Devastation. So we're gonna, because neither of these are like a full episode's worth, so we're gonna do them both in one. That's what I figured. So good.
All right.
So I reckon for the sake of continuity, we'll do Mephiston first, and then we'll do like the prep for the war afterwards. Yeah?
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. All right. So where is my... There you go. This is Mephiston, the Lord of Death.
Cool.
As you can see, why? Because he's like 8 feet tall, a flaming sword, and glorious hair.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Keep in mind, he's also a vampire because, well, blood angels.
Yeah.
So he's basically magic Dracula. That's the thing you gotta keep in mind with this dude, right?
Blah, 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 right.
That's it, aye. So
I want to suck. Yeah? Sorry.
Mephiston is the head of the Librarius. So he's chief psyker for the Blood Angels. And there's a weird thing where usually whoever's the head of the psychers, because they're kind of like a slightly separated division from the normal Space Marines in a chapter, a lot of the time the chapter master, who does oversee the Librarius as well, he's a overarching head of the whole thing, does tend to take on like the head of the Librarius either as almost a partner or at the very least as a very close advisor. And that's kind of what Mephiston does for Dante. It's like any major thing that's going on, Dante's going to talk to Mephiston before he makes a decision, you know? Because, dude's magic Dracula. He's going to have some useful information to provide to anything that's going on, you know? Like, at the very least, he's going to have some solid advice for you. So, also, you don't really want to make him angry, so asking like how he feels about things first, probably a good idea. But we're not going to talk about Mephiston right now. We're gonna start with a dude called Calistarius, right? Calistarius, possibly one of the coolest names in 40k, just in my opinion. It's a cool name. But Calistarius was a member of the Blood Angels. He was a Space Marine, and he was a Psyker, so he was part of the Librarius. But he was like the lowest rank you could be, like the rank you get when you first join. Oh god, what is it? It's Lexicanium, Lexicanium, something like that. Anyway, the idea is it's the lowest rank in the Librarius, and usually your job is like paperwork and field reports, right? Like,
amazing.
Yeah. And obviously, when you're in combat, you're just a slightly magic Space Marine. So usually you're just doing normal Space Marine shit, but like next to more magical Space Marines. Whereas when you're back at base, you're usually the one handling the paperwork. Not a great position to be in, but such is life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Calistarius' story really it begins at the Second War for Armageddon. This is when it becomes like worth talking about, right? Because again, lowest rank in the Librarius, and he gets sent into an actual proper war zone with the Blood Angels, right? And we covered the Second War for Armageddon. We just did it from the Orc side, because this is when Gazgul first turned up to try and ransack the joint, and ended up getting fucked off by Commissar Yarrick. So it's that war we're talking about. So you'll remember this map. Uh, So obviously Armageddon above me here, you'll see there's a bunch of hive cities, and the whole thing was they were trying to defend these hive cities from the orcs that were kind of just piling in from everywhere, left, right, and center. And away in the north, right above me, right on the coastline, is Hades Hive, and that's where Yarrick got banished to because he was causing problems by trying to make his leader be competent. And then he ended up there, took charge, and just actually held Gazkul back for ages, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, Space Marines eventually turned up and got involved, and Dante was in charge of the overall defensive once he turned up. But it is specifically Hades Hive there, way in the north, is the one we're going to talk about. Because obviously, orcs eventually got in, and the place was getting attacked left, right, and center, and it was getting wrecked. And Calistarius was part of a team that were sent in. No, actually, hold on. There's a bit before this. Calistarius almost died during the war on Armageddon, and in the process fell into the Black Rage, so he went feral. Right?
Yeah.
And then, because the Blood Angels like to tie up all the feral guys into one big group and use them as a crazy assault squad, Calistarius was sent into Hades Hive to try and take back the Ecclesiarchy facility. So once he was feral, he was put in a death company with a bunch of other feral dudes and sent in to go destroy all the orcs in the place. Because they're uncontrollable at that point, but they're a great weapon. Just point them at the enemy and go. So
Release the Kraken.
that's basically it. Yeah, you're just releasing a bunch of feral beasts with superhuman powers to go murder everything in front of them. The key is to not be in front of them,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Calistarius went into the Black Rage, ended up in a death company, and got sent into Hades Hive to take back the Ecclesiarchy facilities. The Ecclesiarchy building was destroyed during this time, and the building basically fell on top of the death company, and a lot of other people, I might add, but they were all kind of just crushed to death by the building, except for Calistarius, who was trapped under the rubble for 7 days. Dude, just this feral space marine, just trapped under the rubble, bleeding, armor destroyed, weapons gone, screaming about Horus and his bloody arsehole brothers and all that, just raging for a week. And weird thing, and I don't know if it's on the 7th day or on the 8th day, but either way, eventually the rubble starts to move, and this dude digs himself out of his tomb that had been built around him by the building. He broke his way out of it after being buried under it for a week. And so afterwards he's just standing destroyed because his armor's raped by a building falling on him, and he's bleeding and he's all messed up, standing on top of the pile of rubble that had entombed him for a week. No longer feral. He was no longer under the control of the Black Rage, which, for the record, is the first time that has ever happened. Everyone else that falls into it is permanent. This guy is the first one to ever get out of it. So, yeah. And as he stands there trying to regain his composure on top of the rubble that had entombed him, a bunch of orcs nearby are hey look, there's a beaky over there that's half dead. Let's just go kill it, because that'll be a laugh. So a bunch of them attack him. This dude moves at lightning speed with bare hands, beats a bunch of orcs to death in about 4 seconds, then punches clean through the chest of the biggest one there and tears its heart out. So naturally the orcs just kind of flee in terror. God.
Yeah.
Which I would, to be fair. Especially when the biggest guy gets his heart ripped out. I'm good, actually. I like my heart being in my chest.
Yeah, I can't make it that day.
I suddenly remembered I have somewhere to be. I'm late for work. So, I reckon I should explain what's going on here, right? while Calistarius was buried under the rubble in the Black Rage, he seemed to like internalize what was going on with Rage. So
Yeah.
I don't know how, but he managed to like process it psychologically and find himself again, right? I don't know how, but there's a really weird side effect to this, right? Um, do you know, or do you remember how obviously when you're first becoming a blood angel and they give you the gene seed and that, they make you drink Sanguinius's blood, and then you're
Yeah.
out cold for like an entire year in a coffin, raging, screaming
Yep.
about Horus and Sanguinius and stuff, right?
Yep.
While
And
buried
some
under the
die.
rubble, it was as if the exact same thing happened to Calistarius a second time. It was like being in the rage was just repeating the process from the first time, right? And you'll remember that while they're in that process, the gene seed activates and like transforms their body into a space marine. They also get all the surgeries and stuff, but like they gain the size and the strength and everything from the gene seed, and you know the
Yeah.
things that make them specifically like Sanguinius as kids. Um, so while he was under there, he kind of went through this process again, and his gene seed reactivated. So when he's came out, he is lightning fast and significantly bigger and stronger than he was before because he's essentially a Space Marine times two. He's, if a Space Marine is a Super Saiyan, this guy is a Super Saiyan 2 now.
Yeah.
Because he just redid the process.
Thank you for Dragon Ball Light it for me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate
Like
that.
once in a while, you gotta keep it simple. Just use Dragon Ball to explain it, man. Yeah, so he's essentially went through that like power up process a second time. So when he came out, he was stronger and faster than he ever was before, which is why he was able to just like brutalize a bunch of orcs with at lightning speed before they knew what was going on while being injured. Another side effect of this is that his like psyker powers went from being like a 2 on a scale out of 10 to being like a 56 out of 10. Like he is definitely in contention to be one of the most powerful psychers in the galaxy after this process. Before it was really no one to talk about, right? Like Calistarius at the beginning of this probably could have been bested in terms of just psychic powers by some of the best normal human psychers. Whereas now, Araman probably would have a hard time fighting him. You know?
Okay.
Like that
Yeah.
that's the level of like power up this guy has had in terms of his psyker abilities, right? He is definitely in contention to be one of the most powerful by far. Now, after this whole thing, when he like just starts walking out of the rubble, because you remember he's in the middle of this destroyed city, so he just like walks out, and when his people find him, they're obviously like, dude, what the fuck happened, Calistarius? Like, I thought you were feral. Where the fuck have you been? And he's just like, my name's Mephiston. Move on with your life. And just like walks past them, all sullen. Like this dude became an entirely different guy when he went through this. So he is no longer Calistarius. He became Mephiston, the Lord of Death, by going through the Black Rage and coming out the other side as a different person. Yeah.
It reminds me of something.
What's that?
I mean, it's a recurring thing that people, wake up or stuff like that. Like,
Yeah. There's a lot of people in 40k that just refuse to die. Yeah. But yeah, that's the gimmick with Mephiston. So like, almost died at one point and came back as a whole new guy, significantly more powerful than he was before. To bring this to like the modern day, right? But after becoming Mephiston and becoming much more powerful, he has since went on to become the head of the Librarius, Lord of Death, all of that. And in the run up to the Devastation of Baal, which is what we're about to talk about, he keeps having dreams about the corn demon, Kaabanda, the one that almost killed Sanguinius back during the heresy. He keeps having dreams he's going to turn up and wipe out the Legion, the chapter, whatever. So to preempt it, during the Devastation of Baal, Mephiston and a bunch of his psyker bros go to a cave to try to like summon Kabanda or like open a portal to go get him and kill him preemptively, and all they do is cause a cave in and trap themselves in a cave, so they're just not in the Devastation of Baal. Just totally write themselves out of that fight. So it's quite funny. Yeah. So yeah, that's Mephiston's side of this. But after the Devastation, he becomes like a central character to a lot of Dante's storyline. So you needed to know who he was and what he was about.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other side of this is just a little bit of like the build up to the war. Because like I've mentioned Devastation of Baal. We know Tyranids attack. We haven't really talked about how we get to that point. So how do I start with this? Yeah, we'll start with the Tyranid map, I guess. So this is a map of where the different Tyranid hive fleets come from. So yeah, you've got Behemoth, Gorgon, Kraken, fucking Jormungandr, or you'll probably be able to say it properly because we slaughter your language. But the one we're talking about is Leviathan, which is right next to your head there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is right around the time of the 13th Black Crusade. So chaos is all uprising. Cadia's about to get swamped by Abaddon the Despoiler, and Cadia is also calling back like every guardsman they can to help defend the place. But we are talking about Tyranids here, right? I'm just giving you a bit of time reference there with the Cadia thing. Yeah, with the Tyranid hive fleets, right? It's Leviathan here is coming from like the southwest there, and then it kind of moves not like up north towards like this intersection, and then it kind of peels off towards the northeast. That means it's heading directly towards Baal. But it also kind of splintered off in a few different ways. So, like, it's not the whole fleet, it's just like bits of it end up going slightly different directions. And this doesn't really matter until Dante starts getting reports that there's a bunch of them coming straight for them, basically. It kind of takes a weird thing here. Okay, my stream deck is not working for some reason. There we go. Caught up very suddenly.
We're back?
Yeah, we're back. We're good. It just took a minute. So this is what's called the Cryptus system, right? On like a map, it's basically just on the path for the Tyranids to get to Baal. They have to go past this area. And this is like, Dante uses it as like a warning zone. He essentially lets the Tyranids take a bunch of these planets for the sake of hopefully like leading them in a different direction, right? He like evacuates and stuff, but basically leaves them as a buffet for the Tyranids to buy time and like distract them, right? That's it. He's like, we need to prepare because there's a lot of these little bug fuckers coming towards us, so we need all the time we can get. Feed them the Cryptus system. So this area just kind of gets like condemned for the sake of buying time. While Dante is basically waiting to see what happens with the Cryptus system, to see if the Tyranids are going to just sod off a different direction or if they're going to head straight for Baal, he obviously starts prepping some stuff, right? Because he knows a big battle's coming and he needs more than he's got. He's only got like 1,000 Space Marines and there's billions of space bugs coming. So he needs a lot more to be able to win this fight. So he puts out a call to arms to all the chapters of the Blood. So every chapter that came from the Blood Angels Legion gets called back to Baal to help them defend like the home world of their father. So when he gets word that like the Hive Fleet is coming for Baal, he already has reinforcements on the way, right? These reinforcements come in like, it's a bunch of chapters that turn up. So you've got Chapter Master Gabriel Seth and his Flesh Terrors. They are terrifying, by the way.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah, there's Chapter Master Erkon and the Blood Swords. There is Chapter Master Faller Dark and the Angels Excelsis. There is Castellan Zargo and his Angels in Carmine. There is First Blood Khan and his Carmine Blades. There's First Blood Centaur Jewel and his Knights of Blood. A lot of blood. And in the place of Chapter Master Erden Cleave, we have Second Company Captain Kantar and the Golden Suns. Right? So a fair number of other chapters turn up to help. In total, it has 29,000 Space Marines, which, I mean, it's like a third of an actual legion. Like, you can do a lot with that, you know? But he has 3 planets to protect, because he has Baal, Baal Secundus, and Baal Primus, and he has to protect all 3. So he has 12,000 of them on Baal, 6,000 on Baal Secundus, and 5,000 on Baal Primus, and 6,000 in various spacecrafts and stuff around the planets to act as like an orbital fleet, you know, try to blow them up before they get to the planet, kind of thing. So that's the layout we've got here. Really, really fun part. Probably one of my favorite details about the whole like Devastation of Baal thing, other than what goes on in it. One of like my favorite like preparatory details is so you know how I mentioned the Flesh Tearers. Well, Flesh Tearers, they are exactly what they sound like. They're a bit more feral than you would like them to be. Like, it's hard to tell if they're the good guys kind of thing. The Knights of Blood are almost even worse, right? They're like this close to being the bad guys, right? They are terrible. And none of the other chapters would agree to work with the Knights of Blood. Like, look, I'm not fighting on the same battlefield as the Knights of Blood because they will kill my guys, right? No one has worked on. So the Flesh Tearers were like, we'll take them. Like, we're just as likely to kill them as they are to kill us. And at least no one will complain if we kill them. So the Flesh Tearers and the Knights of Blood were put together to defend Baal Primus, and they're the only ones defending it. The 5,000 troops defending that one planet is just those 2 legions. So chapters. That's it. Like, you've got a whole ass desert planet to protect, and these guys were like, "Yay, bloodbath!" Yeah. So yeah, that's always a fun time. I honestly, you're better off not landing on that planet if you're a Tyranid, right? Because like, that's just not gonna go well, you know.
Yeah.
Fun thing. So you know how there's like a couple of like chapter relics that Dante was shown, like the feather like from Sanguinius's wing with some of his blood floating in stasis.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is given to Gabriel Seth, the leader of the Flesh Tearers, before he goes off to Baal Primus for the defensive. Like, Dante brings him in and is like, "Here, I want you to take this." So he carries the relic with him on the battlefield.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's all to do with the fact that the relic is tied directly to the guy who founded the Flesh Tearers, the original chapter master of the Flesh Tearers, the founding chapter master. It's the relic like holds his name and things like that. It's a whole thing. So it's like, if you're gonna die with your father's and our father's relics by your side. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's an honor basically. Fight in the name of your founding chapter master and in the name of Sanguinius. So here's the relic. You will protect it better than anyone else. I think part of it is also like for survival's sake, because like, obviously that planet is going to have less defenders than anyone else because no one else will help defend it, right? But
Yeah.
if anyone is going to survive this whole thing, it's going to be the two armies of feral super mutants on a desert. You know what I mean? Like, the rest of the Blood Angels may get wiped out. They're not gonna kill the Flesh Tearers and the Knights of Blood. Like, that's just not happening. Like, so like at least this way the relic will definitely survive. If I just put it in your hands, on you go, you nutcase. Go murder some bugs. So I think that was part of it. It was partly he didn't want to have all the relics in one place because it makes it more likely some of them survive the battle if they're all spread out. You know, if you just leave them all in their like fortress, well, what if the fortress gets destroyed? Then they're fucked. You know, may as well tie it to a feral vampire and see where it ends up. But yeah, that's kind of it. So there is an ass load of vampires ready to defend their homeworlds, and the most magical one of them all is locked in a cave because he's an idiot.
Nice.
Yeah. So next time we will just go full tilt and cover the whole thing of the Devastation of Baal, full scale Tyranid warfare. It'll be great. And also demons turn up and the Emperor turns or Sanguinius turns up, sorry, and shit like that. It's cool. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it.
Sounds good.
Good. I look forward to it. It's gonna be fun. I've been looking forward to talking about the Devastation of Baal since we started this podcast. I want you to know that.
Wait, seriously?
It's such a major event. It's like talking about the Fall Acadia. It's such a big event. There's so much goes on, and it's so interesting. Devastation of Baal is a very similar scale. It doesn't change the entire galaxy because like Fall Acadia changed everything, right? Devastation of Baal doesn't change the whole galaxy, but it does change a lot. Like it's a big deal. So that's fun. So, shall you round us out for today?
I sure can do. Well,
Woot.
thank you guys for listening to this episode of Iterators of the Imperium podcast. It's been me, Mess, and Ryan. I will catch you in the next one. Take care and peace.
Bye.